and I can't like talk to you and not ask about Diana um, and The Crown. Um, since you were a character in the show, was that an accurate description of what transpired between you and Diana?
Well, it was pretty accurate because I was a consultant on the show. I think it could have been more. There could have been more drama made of it because it was a very dramatic time of in my life. But obviously, they made the TV show and that was it. But uh, I thoroughly enjoyed helping them for the Crown. But and it showed you what a tricky time it was for myself, my publisher, and the intermediary, James Coldhurst.
And when writing her biography, which was like a very different process from the Queen, I believe, um, how did you react when you first heard her recordings? Like, was there anything she said that shocked you the most?
Yes, I was utterly, totally shocked beyond belief, because I believed in the fairy tale that, as they said it when they married on St Paul's Cathedral, that this was the stuff of fairy tales. Well, it clearly it wasn't. And Diana told me about all these this woman Camilla Parker Bowles, who I'd never heard of. They told me about bulimia nervosa, which I'd never heard of, and her kind of these desperate cries for help, these suicide attempts, all of which were news to me. And it was like entering a parallel universe, entering a different world. I first heard Diana speaking. It transported me to another world, and it was a more secretive um, world than I had hitherto entered.
And it's funny because some things in this new book about the Queen kind of confront like what Diana said to you back then. Like we talked about how she said she was kind of, not very close to the Queen. And then in this book, there's another account of how the Queen was actually not cold towards her. And then there's the suicide attempt that in the first book there is the story about how she threw herself down the stairs at Sandringham, and then you find out that there's other accounts about how she tripped and it wasn't really like she threw herself down the stairs. um, how was it for you, like conflicting those stories?
Well, I mean, it's fairly straightforward, really. It's what was going through her mind. Did she trip, and- or did she just throw herself down the stairs? Well, she said she threw herself down the stairs, but that was her intention. But she ended up in a kind of a crumpled heap at the bottom of the stairs as the Queen was feeding the corgis, and everybody was concerned about her, that she might lose the baby that she was carrying, Prince William. So there were two things going on. Did she have a row with Prince Charles, who said he was going out hunting? And the answer is probably yes. Um, their marriage was of concern to the Queen and the rest of the family from an early stage, because it was quite clear that Diana was struggling with royal life, and as she said that to me, and it was apparent to everybody else, uh, and that. But what wasn't known at the time was this kind of jealousy she had for about Camilla, and from the Queen's point of view, she she wouldn't have thought in a million years that Charles would go back to Camilla. It just wasn't part of her lexicon.
uh, and about Diana's biography, did you ever find out who broke into your office? Like,
No, no, I never did. And but wasn't it a curious coincidence that I was spoken to by two members of the royal pack. That's to say, a guy called Richard Kay from the Daily Mail and Arthur Edwards from the Sun, both of whom are veteran with good contacts. And they said, watch your phones, watch your office. and my office was broken into. Nothing much was stolen. It was just kind of weird. Could have been a coincidence. Makes a better story that it was organized by the Secret Services.
But I read that you were quite spooked when that happened, like where you were in the process of writing the biography, like you were a little scared of what could happen to you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no question of the fact that, you know, I was using public phone boxes, of which there are none these days, to contact the intermediary, to arrange meetings, because, you know, we were worried about my phone's being tapped. And Diana was concerned as well. I mean, she had her rooms at Kensington Palace swept for bugs. Nothing was found, and we paid the bill for that. We paid the expenses.
Wow.